What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today we're back with my 1959 Rambler American Classic. So I've got quite a bit going on in the shop today, including working on this fixed roof coupe, the FRC C5 Corvette. Pretty rare car, actually, with a 6-speed manual transmission. We got some work going on with it, but today is actually about the 59 Rambler American Classic. Upon receiving this from auction, I realized we couldn't drive it, and that really sucks. We've got this amazing car that's 866 horsepower, capable of over 1,000 horsepower if you add a bottle of nitrous. It'll handle a nice 250 shot with no problem at all. And the only time I've been able to drive it is from the front of the house into the shop. It is sat on the lift waiting on one part that we have absolutely got to have before I'm willing to take it out for a drive. And that is, you guessed it, the TV cable. This little cable is so important, guys, so important. Here's what's left of the old one. Not much. It's broken at the end, and I don't know what happened. It looks very rusted, and then it just disintegrated. I'm not really sure how that happened, and here's the other end of it. I went ahead and did all the hard work for you. I took the shatter blanket off of the transmission. That was a major pain because this blanket actually bolts to the bell housing of the transmission right here. And let me tell you, getting to those bolts with this 90 degree, tons of fun underneath a vehicle that has absolutely no room to work on. Also, getting the TV cable out, not the most fun. So here's what I did. I went to TCI and I bought a really good quality adjustable telescoping cable. Now, to extend the cable, this sheathing, you simply loosen this nut and you can move this in and out to get the appropriate cable length. So what I did is I adjusted this to as close as I could get to the original cable, and I think we're good to go ahead and install it. It already has a gasket installed on the bottom. So all you got to do is connect this to that little that little L inside the transmission. Put that tin back in, route this up through the top, hook it up, self-adjust it, and then take it for a drive and hope, we're going to hope, that since I got everything pretty close to right, that we get the proper shifts. You should shift from first gear to second gear between 15 and 20 miles an hour. And if you don't, well, you got to make a few little adjustments. But thankfully, I spoke with the previous owner of the car, the guy that actually built it, I should say. I talked to him about it, and he said he customized the 700R4 in this to such an extent, he said you probably could have driven it just fine without a TV cable. He said the line pressures in this transmission are so high that you probably would never damage this transmission running it without a TV cable. With that said, forgive me for wanting to just do it right, okay? It was $56 for this cable. I'd rather just do it right and know that we're okay rather than take a chance on damaging the transmission in this. So this is a great opportunity to take you guys and show you around underneath this car. Now, there's a giant puddle of transmission fluid that has been dripping for about a week now, and here it is. It's still dripping. It's dripping because it has no cable, and yeah, I should have put the drain bucket underneath. Why I didn't, I don't know. It was a long night that night. But anyway, why don't we start at the back and kind of work our way forward so you can see what this car is working with underneath. We're going to start with these gigantic Mickey Thompson tires. These are absolutely insane, guys. Just for reference, here's my hand, and there's the tire. Now, what size are they? Let's see, they're 29 by 15 and a half, 15 LTs. These are the Sportsman Pros. They're a little bit older. I'm fairly certain these are at least several years old, but it says maximum load 1425 pounds at 20 psi cold. So these tires are not meant to have a lot of air pressure. We also have strange adjustable, not just adjustable coilovers, but the firmness, the stiffness is actually adjustable as well down here. The rear end, you guessed it, a very shortened Ford 9-inch rear end with, I believe, 355 gears. Of course, it is Posi-Track. Yes, you can adjust, not just with the coilovers, all right, the ride height, but you can also adjust the bracket. If you notice, welded onto the rear differential here to the axle tubes is this nice adjustable bracket where you can literally raise and lower the body of the car to your desired setting. That's a pretty nifty idea right there, guys. The Ford 9 inches, leaking a little bit. I think that's just a Ford thing, guys, right? You have adjustable rear end as well. You can push it up, down, out, however you want. Ginormous exhaust. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the 14-gallon fuel cell. And then the fuel pump is a Holley HP 150. And then you have this nice filter. Looks like a canister style filter. It is a... is that an AC Delco? It is. It's an AC type GF-62 filter. So really easy to replace the filter on this as well. The fuel pump, it makes quite a bit of noise. It's older. It probably wouldn't hurt anything to go ahead and replace it. I believe the exhaust is Flowmasters. Unfortunately, there's a rattling noise that you'll hear. And that is because these mounts have broken. They're not melted. It doesn't look like anything melted. They just broke from the stress. So these are kind of just bouncing around under here. You can see where this one has actually impacted the frame here. You've got 2x3 square frame rails. These are all custom built. You've got a custom built transmission mount or transmission cross member as well. Yeah, so a 700 R4, no speedometer is connected to this at all. It'd be super easy to add one. Looks like you could add a trans temp gauge right here. That looks like a trans temp sensor, or also a very convenient drain plug. If you move on up, you'll see that we have, well, what used to be a 454 cubic inch, which is now like a 482 headers. There's your solid front axle. And we have QA1 shocks on the front. They are starting to leak a little bit. Here is the interesting thing. The motor mounts they don't exist as far as rubber isolators. Nope, no polys. No, this is solid mount, guys. Every bit of it. Solid mounts on both sides. Wow. No wonder this thing is so rowdy. Over here, you've got your jump point. Really easy to get to. That was very thoughtful. And then we have our, well, I'll show you more of that here in a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and throw this TV cable in here. Everything under here actually looks really good, especially for a build that's several years old. This would easily clean up underneath, guys. This would not be hard to bring a rattle can and just kind of clean all of this mess up, make it look a whole lot better. But before we get into that, let's actually make sure that it goes down the road and drives like it's supposed to. We have a dual brake system right here. What this is this car used to be a manual transmission, and it has two reservoirs up there. One used to be for the clutch, one used to be for the brakes. Well, now they both feed this dual cylinder master cylinder. So it's kind of a nice safety backup. In case one fails, you have the other one. It does have a line lock on it as well, an electronic solenoid for line lock. I just got trans fluid all over me. Thank you very much. I'm going to throw this cable in real quick. Then I'm going to show you the next really cool feature that this car has. And as promised, here's the party trick. I think this is super cool that the front end literally lifts up off of the car. Makes it so much easier to work on. With that said, this TV cable took me far longer than it should have. This was such a pain. There's no room to get under there. It didn't want to fit in the transmission quite right. Like it took, and it kept slipping. It kept slipping off. I had to get Jessica out here to help me. She had to keep tension. This is crazy. Like as I'm installing the other side of this, she's grabbing this part and having to keep tension on it once I get it on that rod, because otherwise it just keeps popping off over and over and over again. We finally got it in. We've got it routed. I've tested it. I've made sure that everything is adjusted as good as I can see it needs to be adjusted for now. This is all preliminary. Of course, we can push the button and we can readjust this as necessary. First gear shift should be like 15 to 20 miles an hour. Second gear should be like 20 to 30, something like that. So the problem is it doesn't have a speedometer, so we have to use my phone as a GPS and just try to make sure that it's shifting pretty damn close to where it needs to be, because the last thing I want to do is damage the transmission. It was a little low on coolant. I went ahead and topped it off with the overflow, topped off the radiator. It's good and full now. I tightened up this belt. This belt was very, very loose. To do that, it's interesting. It's got this collar right here, and you have to loosen this, and then you put some tension on this one, and then once you get the right tension back on the belt, you tighten it back down. Probably from the heat is what did it. So everything seems to be hooked up. I think everything is good. We're going to have to let it run for a while. One of the things I will not do is take it out for a drive before I've let it warm up properly. I got to double check that transmission fluid level. I know that we probably lost at least a couple of quarts as it's been sitting here dripping. So I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to open these bay doors, which sucks because it's really nice and cool in here. It's like 74 degrees in here right now, and we're about to completely ruin that. Cross your fingers that everything is good. This steering wheel, you know what? It's just easier to take the dang thing off, push the button and just take that off, get it out of the way. I don't think the gas pedal opens the throttle all the way either. I do not. Ignition on. We have voltage, fuel, water pump. Uh-oh. I think I flooded her when I was adjusting that cable. Wow. A little smoke coming out from under the hood. Hopefully that's just transmission fluid that leaked, right? Sure. Come on, old girl. There we go. There we go. Woo! Wow. Boy, when she's spraying to life. Wow, this place is, look how smoky it is in here. All I did was start it. It's like instant death in here. Good God almighty. Woo! Look at that. Let the sun shine in. Gotta get this smoke out of here. Wow. Let's go outside. Look. Wow, okay. Hey, she's running. All right, she's running. The exhaust makes some rattling noises. Ignore it. Let's get these windows rolled down. Make sure nothing is going to catch on fire. God, it is so smoky in here. Here is the ignition system. Boost timing master. This is the start retard control. Here is your blaster coil and a Marine MSD ignition of 6M2L. This is waterproof, water resistant for marine applications. She seems to be running great. You'll notice that belt is no longer flopping all over the place like it was before. Seems to be running all right, guys. It's still just crazy smoky in here, man. Let me open this door too. I'm already getting lightheaded. This is insane. This car is a monster. An absolute monster. I don't have the cooling fans on right now. I'm trying to let her warm up first. Get it up to temp. That way I can adjust the trans fluid as necessary. And then we are going to take this whole girl out on a ride, man. First drive of my super cheap 1,000 horsepower race car. Let's take a look, see where the gauges are at. Voltage is good, oil pressure is good, water temp is still nice and cold, so it's going to take it a minute to get warmed up. Idle is great, she sounds healthy. Just a matter of time, guys. Let's let her sit here and purr for a while. Take her out and see how she rides. Well, it's getting late, guys. It's already almost 8 o'clock at night. This took way longer than it was supposed to. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. I'm not sure why I'm nervous. I've had this thing idling and running. It's full of trans fluid. I got extra gas right there. We do have a seatbelt. This big thing, I'm not going to use the harness. I'm not out here racing. Just going to take it for a drive about 10 miles to see if it can do it without catching on fire. I do have the fire extinguisher, don't I? Yes. Fire extinguisher is right there as well. So, I mean, we should be pretty well set. So let me back this thing out of here, guys. We'll take her on our first cruise and find out if that throttle or TV cable is set up properly. Probably not, but we're about to find out. All right, I've checked all the fluids. I've made sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. I am buckled up. Brakes work, manual brakes. That's oh yeah. Lots of clunks and creaks. I'm sure that's fine. Let me close this garage door and we're gonna get out of here. There's no power steering, there's no power brakes, and you can't really see out the back window. So hopefully nobody's back there. This is so nerve-wracking. Easy, easy. Oh my. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this steering. I'm not even joking, guys. One-handed, this is not the easiest thing to do. Looking out the windshield there, you can't really see anything other than that big blower just hanging out. Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna be very ginger with it. I can't tell if it's shifted or not. I have no idea. There's third gear. Second. Third. I guess it'll shift into fourth whenever it feels like it. Alright guys, give me a second. I'm going to pull up my GPS speedometer so I can get an idea of how fast we're actually going. Alright, well, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm doing the best I can do with what I got out here. We are cruising. I don't even know if you can hear me, but speed limit is 65. There's 65. We're doing almost 70. Around 3,000 RPM at almost 70. It actually doesn't drive too bad. This could absolutely be a power tour car with a little bit of work. It is incredibly loud. Wow. Almost 4,000 RPM. We haven't even leaned into this thing at all yet, guys. I'm being very gentle with it. All the gauges look good. I hope we're not on fire. I do smell something. Maybe that's, yeah, I don't know. I smell something, but all the gauges look good. She's going down the road pretty decent for what it is. Not too bad. I would love to know what happened to this car. I don't think this car ever caught on fire. I just think that it was in a fire. I think it was in a garage, in somebody's house, maybe in a trailer, I don't know. But I don't think this car ever caught on fire. It just got really, really hot. I'm surprised how good it rides. If you had power steering on this thing and air conditioning, this would be a hell of a ride, man. You can actually ride this thing pretty comfortably with power steering and air conditioning. So I don't know, maybe that's something for later on down the road. Right now though, golly, wow. I'm not even getting try to drive it another 5 miles back to the house. But so far, this has been a very successful first drive of the 59 Rambler. I couldn't be happier. Brakes, four-wheel disc brakes, they work great. They really do. They work absolutely phenomenal. Let's get off here. All right. Woo! Oh, I stalled it. I killed it. I killed it. All right, guys, let's get out. To do the seatbelt, you gotta like do this and then pull it out. Let's check our temperature's good. We'll turn the fans and fuel and everything off. We'll go ahead and shut her down. Let's just get out real quick. And oh, the looks this car gets to, man. People cannot help but stare because they're looking at it. Most people ain't gonna know what it is. Like, no lie, I didn't know what it was. I had several of you car guys out there messaging me telling me that it's like a 55 Nash, and it's not. It's a 59 Rambler American Classic. That's what it is. So let's take a quick peek. Everything under here look good. No signs of fire. No signs of anything going wrong. She is warm though, and it gets real warm inside of this thing, man. Super, super warm. Belt's still nice and tight. Good pressure on the cooling system. Alternator belt is still hanging in there. Everything looks good, guys. It does get super warm in this thing. I still don't know if we need to adjust this or not. It's hard, guys, to hold the camera while also trying to steer this heavy car. Well, I guess it's not that heavy, but the front end feels like it weighs a ton. You know, one hand on the camera, one hand on a steering wheel with no power steering, and try to keep track of the ship points. It's a little too much to do on camera, guys, so I'll probably have to do that after we put the camera down at some point. I did lean into it a little bit where we killed it. Over here, you can see where we kicked up a little bit of gravel. So that's a crazy looking car. I mean, just this thing is absolutely wild. And I haven't even made any attempt to smash on it yet. You don't really need to. I mean, I'm sure if you smash on it, she's going to give you the beans, man. But just driving it normally, this car is wild. This car is wild, and it looks absolutely insane. All right, well, I guess we will try this again. She is a wild beast of a car. I'm not even kidding with you, man. She's wild. This car is way too much fun, guys. Oh, am I in third gear? Uh-oh. Guys, I seem to have lost my transmission. I got third gear anymore. Uh-oh. Second. Really? Well, I got all kinds of people pissed off at me because I can't. I'm doing good to be hitting about 50 miles an hour, 52. She's having a hard time, guys. I cannot believe this. Yeah, third and fourth gear are just not there. So I'm guessing that throttle cable's out of adjustment. Something's wrong with it. Great. This is not how this test drive was supposed to go. Well, the good news is we've made it back into the city limits. We're back in Byers. I guess I can pull this thing up in the driveway. We'll check that throttle cable, see where it's sitting at, and also check the trans fluid level now that it's had time to get fully warmed up, taken on a drive. Hopefully, with any luck, it's going to be okay. Here we are. We made it back. There we go. All right. Poor girl. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. That was not how this was supposed to go. That's all I know. Let's just get out and make sure that cable is still attached. Yeah, it's still on there. Make sure we got nothing leaking out from underneath. Nope, not a drop of anything. It looks like it's got fluid, guys. So I'm a little confused as to what is going on with this car. Oh, my turn signals are still on. I keep forgetting these aren't auto-canceling signals. They work though, like brake lights work, parking lights, signals, headlights, all that good stuff works. There we go. While we shut all this down, lights, water, cooling fans, fuel, shut her off. Let me go grab a rag. I'm gonna do a little tinkering with it while I'm sitting out here before it gets too dark to mess with anymore. All right, we're gonna try something. It is full of fluid. I detached the throttle cable, or the TV cable, I should say. And we're gonna make sure that it still has the gears that it had before. There's fourth gear, or automatic, I should say. It just goes away. There's second. There's third. I don't see fourth. Let's come to a complete stop. Back out onto the main road here. Yeah, she ain't shifting. She ain't shifting. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of adjusting here, guys. Try to figure out what the deal is. Let's try it manually. There's first. We'll see what gears we do have. Obviously, we know we got first and second. I'm just not quite sure what we have after that. All right, easy does it. So there's first, second, no third. Back to second. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. Well, something else for me to work on. Well, I've taken it out and I have messed with it. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I'm kind of at a loss here, man. I adjusted the TV cable and I got it where I feel like it's in a pretty good location, man. It seems right. The shifts from 1 to 2 are at about 17 miles an hour. And it seems like when it's supposed to go shift over to 3, there's nothing there. Same thing with 4, nothing there. Now with that said, you can put it in 4 and you can take off and it will shift 1 to 2. And then it just kind of disappears when it comes time for 3rd and 4th gear. So I didn't go out and even hammer on this thing, like not at all. I mean, I gave it a little throttle, but I never actually got into this. So I'm gonna have to review the footage and verify that it was. I'm certain that when we first started out driving this thing, it had no problem. So I don't know if it's because now it's hot, everything is warmed up and hot, or yeah, maybe I broke it. You know, maybe I broke it. I really, I can't imagine it. My first drive of this car. And you know, it's funny. Right before I left, my fiance told me, and I almost hate to admit this, my fiance told me, she said, you know what, before I even took it for a drive, she said, you should get rid of that thing. And I said, why? I said, I love it. It's an awesome car. She said, it's just going to give you problems down the road. That's exactly what she told me. And I said, don't say things like that. You're going to bring it into existence. And well, there you have it. I just, as soon as she said it, I was like, oh man, don't say that. Don't say that. Obviously not her fault, but I think she did have some pretty good advice. Seriously, she was like, get rid of that thing. She doesn't want me to have it. She's afraid I'm going to hurt myself. She's probably right about that too. When I think about it, she's actually right about a lot of things. I got plenty of toys around here, guys. I don't necessarily need this one. I don't go and drag race or anything, so there's really no point in having a drag racing car. I just saw it and kind of fell in love with it, man. I had to have the thing, but at the end of the day, I got so many... Whoa, where did that come from? That's interesting. Somebody put a Copart sticker on the bike, but the bike is still sitting here. The bike's sold. Actually, the bike and the Cadillac Eldorado sold. Before I forget about that, this sold for $2,000. I paid $675 for it. The Cadillac Eldorado was sitting over there by the other Cadillac. It's missing. So I have to assume they came out and picked it up, but they just stuck a sticker on this and left it here. So anyway, this sold for $2,000. The Cadillac Eldorado convertible, that one sold for $4,000. I was hoping for a little more, but it sold for $4,000. It's out of here. I'm done with it. What I was saying is I don't really need any more play toys cars, right? I got enough. I got the Viper, and unfortunately this car has just been sitting out here in the sun and in the heat. This car I haven't touched it. I haven't done anything to it. It just sits here. Monte Carlo, obviously transmission time. That's coming very soon. We're going to be putting a transmission in this thing. I've already ordered it. It's on the way, and we'll talk about that in another video. So I got a project right here. Next to that is the Scat Pack, the 2016 Challenger Scat Pack with the shaker package. So again, I've got toys, guys, and I've got a Corvette sitting in the shop. This thing I need to get wrapped up, get it out of here. This one, I think it's sold. I haven't decided if I'm gonna let it go yet, but it brought like $475 at auction. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and cut this one loose and let it go. What I'm trying to say is I got so many cars, guys. I've got this one, it only went for like $1,900. And this is one I don't know if I'm gonna let go for 1,900 bucks. You know what? I'm sorry, a 29,000 mile, perfectly good running and driving Cadillac with good tires, cold air conditioning. Nah, I don't know. I don't know about letting that go for that kind of money. But what I'm trying to say is I got plenty of projects. I got plenty of work ahead of me over here. My fiance is right. I really don't need the 59 Rambler. It was fun to bring it to the channel. It was fun to get it running and take it out on its maiden voyage. What's not fun is the fact that now something appears to be wrong with the transmission. Or we could always try to come back in another video after things cool down. It's had time to cool off. We can reevaluate, check fluid levels. Maybe we need to change the fluid in it. I don't know. That usually doesn't fix anything, but maybe it could use a filter and a fluid change, and we can try it again. You guys do me a favor and comment below and tell me what you think is going on with the 59 Rambler. I honestly think, though, I'm going to do everything I can to fix the transmission. I want to sell this thing actually running and driving like it's supposed to be. But I do think that ultimately this car is probably going to go down the road. I absolutely don't need this kind of a project. And if I were to keep it, the first thing I'd have to do is send it down to Brian at the Auto Spa, have him do a complete interior detail and an ice blast on the motor to try to bring back all of the original color and shine to all of this. That's going to be a very expensive job for sure. And then when I was done with that, I'd probably send it down to Mako and have them do a respray in the same color scheme, the silver and this red. I think it's a beautiful color, and I would probably keep that color scheme. After that, who knows, guys? It's one of those projects that could turn into a whole lot of money real fast. So I'm gonna have you guys drop your comments down below and tell me what you think we should do. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button and let me know. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.